This is the first run.
Hey, Bear! Hey, Bear! Let's get to work. Oh, man.
Got the gauges set up and I'm checking the psych to see when the clutch switches on and off. Here we've got the clutch kicking in at 38 psig. That's a little low. You can see how the needle's creeping down pretty fast. I'll get to that later. Then we're going to hit 22 psig and the clutch will shut off again. Now we're going to take a look at the gauges again. Yep, that is way too short a cycle. It's creeping up from 22 to 38 really fast. I've got the controls on max fan and I've got the doors open. And the compressor's kicking it down pretty fast. I've determined I've got low airflow, so I'm going to replace the cabin air filter. Click on that link on the top right and I'll show you how to replace that. Just looking at how fast the needle is moving low and high. Also, I've got really low discharge pressure. So I think what's happening is the cabin air filter is clogged. So there isn't much of a heat load and therefore the compressor doesn't have as much work to do. We're back. I've replaced the cabin air filter. It was filthy. We're checking the clutch to see when it engages and disengages by pressure. I have the doors open and the fan is on full. We have a heavy heat load on the evaporator and you can see the compressor is keeping a fairly steady pressure. So the compressor and condenser are removing about as much heat as the evaporator is adding to the refrigerant. To get the clutch to cycle by reducing the heat load, I'm setting the fan to 1, the air to recirculate, and closing the doors. The compressor's on. With less of a heat load, the suction pressure is dropping. With cabin air recirculating and the fan at 1, I've got such a low heat load. The compressor is off. There is so little heat in the refrigerant, it's just hovering around 30 psi, which is a saturation temperature of about 35 degrees, so the evaporator is not freezing. But I need to turn the fan up so I can add some more heat. I turned the fan up so I can get more cycling.
People are probably saying, hey man, it's good enough as it is. You got good AC. Well, let's just see what this new sensor does. Kicking the compressor on at 37 psi is still too low. It needs to go up to 44 to 46, I think, is ideal. Even though that's going to be a warmer evaporator, it's also going to give the evaporator time to get above freezing. So there's that to think about. There's a watertight seal here that affects the pressure, so I want to give this about 20 minutes to bleed off the extra pressure, so it'll be more accurate. So I'll come back later and we'll give it another test to see when the clutch cycle is on and off.
Clutch cycling pressures are in spec. We're done.